Hey there, what's up you guys? I am Jerry and welcome back to the channel, The Chicago Griller. Last Friday, I shared a recipe for grilled lobster tails. That's going to be a really hard one to follow up on, but I have to come up with something very good because it is Labor Day weekend here in the United States. But I think I got it. Sweet, sticky, St. Louis style short ribs. So just hit that subscribe button and join me out on the back and I'll show you how it's done. Today on the channel, I am unwrapping a rack of St. Louis style ribs and show you that it doesn't take all day to cook up ribs, it just takes 90 minutes. And now that I have this out of the packaging, let's get started. St. Louis style ribs are not the same as baby back ribs. As you can see, they are flatter and contain quite a bit more fat in the ribs. And as I give these a flip, you can see how much flatter these are compared to your baby back ribs. Now, more fat does generally mean more flavor, but we still gotta cut off these excess chunks that you could just pinch and hold like this. So grab your favorite knife and start trimming these extra flaps of fat away. Once you've trimmed away a good portion of the extra fat, we're gonna turn the rack of ribs around over to the bony side and remove the membrane. This is a really tricky part. You're gonna use a nail, a knife, a spoon, or some kind of utensil to poke a hole in the membrane. Then you could use a paper towel for better grip and pull the membrane off the ribs. Sometimes this is easy to do, sometimes it's really hard to do. Today it was really hard to do. However, removing that membrane is worth doing because otherwise it just ends up being tough and chewy. Anyways, now that I've trimmed the excess fat away and removed the membrane, I'm going to transfer this to a regular baking pan. And as you can see, this slab of ribs is larger than my baking pan, so I'm going to need to cut this in half. And now at this point, you can either season the ribs or prep them for your cook. I'm going to go ahead and prep, and to do so, I'm going to pour a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar directly onto this baking pan. And now we're going to take a sheet of heavy-duty aluminum foil and tightly wrap the baking pan. We want to wrap this as tight as possible because when we heat that vinegar up, it's going to steam and tenderize the ribs so that it falls right off the bone. And now we're ready to grill. Out here on the patio, we've preheated this Weber Q2000 to a medium-low heat. Now this step actually might be optional, so one of you viewers may have to let me know in the comments, but I'm lining this grill with a roasting rack, and I'm going to place the baking pan directly on top. I think doing so will help me control the temperature of the baking pan a lot better, because what we have to do now is maintain this at a temperature of 350 degrees F or 165 degrees C for about an hour and 15 minutes. Now, you could control this better in an oven instead of a grill, but I'm the Chicago griller, not the Chicago baker. Anyways, because this will take 75 minutes of roasting time, I am doing a beer check. I am drinking a Revolution Brewing Anti-Hero IPA. Don't put too many beers down because we do have to prepare the sauce. Squeeze some of your favorite barbecue sauce into a bowl. There we go. And we're going to doctor that up with a couple tablespoons of brown sugar. And finally, a couple tablespoons of maple syrup. Whoops, that was a little bit more than I wanted, but that's okay. I did say we were making sweet and sticky ribs, and there's nothing sweeter and stickier than maple syrup. Anyways, give it all a mix and set this aside until we're ready for it. And after an hour and 15 minutes, let's pull our ribs out of the oven. Grill. Yeah, grill. Now I don't need this roasting rack anymore, so I'm going to pull this off as well. And now shut the lid. Turn the gas up to medium, and we'll be back in just a sec. Now let's check out these ribs. I've pulled away the first few layers of foil, and you can see the steam coming out of this pan. And there it is. After about an hour and 15 minutes steaming in that vinegar, these ribs are pretty much done. Check this out. you could just poke right through with a knife very easily. However, these ribs as is are very plain and are gray and ugly as sin. So let's get these on the grill and give them some color. And here we are, the Weber Q2000 is back up onto a medium heat, and we are going to go ahead and lay these ribs directly onto these grill grates. These are going to be awesome. We're going to lay these ribs meaty side down first, and you can hear that sizzle right away. And oh wow, check it out. Look at that bone just fly right off, and the second one come with it. That just shows you how tender these are. Anyways, shut the lid and we're going to cook this for about 2 minutes. And I'm back after a quick 2 minutes. I'm going to go remove this one rib that has kind of started floating away on its own. And now give these 2 half racks a flip. There's the first half. And there's the second half. And as you can see, they look a little bit prettier now with some color on them. But now let's make them really, really beautiful by adding some sauce. Spoon as much or as little as you'd like on these ribs, but I would encourage you to lay it on thick because we did not add any seasoning to this yet. There we go. Just make sure these ribs are dripping from head to toe in this sauce. And once you're satisfied, we're going to shut the lid and let this cook for another 2 minutes. After 2 minutes of heat, the sauce on top of these ribs are getting sticky and melty, but let's give them some caramelization and flip these ribs around. And just like the meaty side from a few minutes ago, the back side does look a little bit plain, so let's go slather on a liberal amount of sauce. There we go. And now onto the other half. And don't forget to ladle some in between the ribs so that every surface of the rib is covered in this sauce. And now shut the lid for another 2 minutes. And after 2 more minutes, we're going to give these ribs one last flip to caramelize the sauce on this side. I'm being very careful so I don't lose any ribs. There's one half and the other half. And oh man, will you look at that. This just looks delicious and it smells even better. But let's lather it up with the rest of our sauce. Looks perfect. Now let's close up this lid and cook for a final 1 to 2 minutes and we're done. And finally at last, after about 90 minutes of total cook time from start to finish, we're gonna pull these ribs off of the grill and get ready to serve. I mean, look at how tender this is. I'm surprised I've not lost more ribs in this process. After all that, I was so excited and forgot to turn on the camera to show you how tender these are. So with the second rib, check this out. The meat just pulls clean right off that bone. So there you have it, sweet and sticky St. Louis style ribs, made on a Weber Q. Alright Huey, what do you think of these ribs? These have got to be almost as good as the lobster, if not better. Huey agrees. And so that's it. That is the recipe for sweet and sticky St. Louis style short ribs made on a Weber Q. This was actually my very first time making this recipe, so it really is that easy to do. Thank you very much as always for watching today. If you enjoyed this content, definitely hit the like button, comment, or subscribe. If you have the time, definitely check out some of the other videos on my channel. You can find them by clicking my name below. Thanks again for watching me today. I come out with videos twice weekly, so you don't want to miss out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye now.